I should log into my phone too.
Yeah.
How is everybody doing? Everybody, this is the Everything True Cinema podcast. It's Monday night yet again. Here we are back. Everybody's in the house, and it looks like everybody can be seen this time, which is awesome. Finally, we figured it out as we're getting our stuff together, which coincidentally, I have a kind of a cool announcement to make, which is we've officially got our first sponsor.
Oh,
Yes, the podcast is now sponsored by B&B Market.
really?
Yeah. So
I love that place.
I love that place too. So if you're in Des Moines, Iowa, or you're ever passing through, you guys have got to stop at B&B Market. Not only is it like an old-fashioned, like the kind of place that you might have went when you were a kid or with your grandparents or something like that, an old butcher shop, but it's also a great place to go in and get a sandwich. It's like a deli. They'll make you anything you want. Home of the killer sandwich, right? That's what it's
Oh
called.
man, we filmed there a couple times.
Yes.
And that guy always like cooks for us.
Yes.
He made those awesome little breakfast like egg roll things he made us.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So for those, there's new people coming in. For those of you that didn't hear, we're pretty stoked because we've got our first sponsor, B&B Market, on the south side of Des Moines, Iowa. It's been a staple for a million years.
Great place.
Great people, great place. So we're thrilled to have them as our sponsor. We'll be getting their logos on things here pretty soon, but I could not be more delighted. So yeah, we've got a couple of things that we want to talk about tonight. We've got a mailbag, couple of questions we're going to answer as well. Also want to mention that for all of you, or for some of you rather, that have been keeping track of our AI web series, Aura, which is a supernatural detective thriller, mystery thriller, and we just launched episode 3 last night. So these are awesome, you guys, because you can go in and watch them, and they're like 2 to 3 minutes long. So it's just like, real quick, something you can watch for a few minutes. Each episode is getting you deeper and deeper into the story, but it's just kind of cool because it doesn't take up a lot of time. It's done with AI, but we also incorporate real actors. We're incorporating real elements into this AI story, and it's really fascinating. So it seems to be doing really well. Each episode is doing better and better. Last time I looked a couple of hours ago, I think episode 3 had like 60,000 views.
Yes. And like close to 6,000 likes.
Awesome.
Which is amazing.
So how much are we at for episode 3 now? I know this doesn't seem like a big deal,
Episode
but
3.
I'm telling you guys, like as an independent creator like we are, it really is satisfying when people are paying attention to our stuff. 1,700 likes.
Likes.
How many views does it have?
Oh my god! I just saw that.
Must be bad.
Dude, no, it's over 100K. It's over 100K. I'm not even kidding. 100.8.
Well, that's awesome. So
100K, and it's got 1,700 likes.
Well, that's really cool. So if HBO's watching and you guys want to talk, just hit me up. Like I'm cool with discussing how we can get that show on HBO or something. That's really one of my dreams, is to have something on HBO. So I remember when I was a kid, that little opening thing that would come on when a movie was about to play. It was like you were flying, and then you go around the O.
I'm on HBO every night.
Have you seen the making of documentary about that?
I have not. I didn't even know there was.
Yeah. the production involved in that thing you're talking about.
Oh, the HBO thing? I think I've seen that.
Yeah. It was a model. And they filmed on the model. It was a 3D model.
Interesting.
And the production was amazing.
But now it's called Max.
Right.
Yeah.
I know we discussed that, and we get frustrated, but what are you gonna do?
There's a branded channel on Max called HBO.
Oh my God.
Right. So why don't we start real quickly? Let's start with mailbag. What do you say? Let's ask some questions.
All right. Well, not so much questions as some topics, though. We've got someone who wants to know if you've seen Adam Sandler's Spaceman yet.
Okay, so
which I have.
first of all, what I would say about that is I have not seen it. I have not finished it. I have seen the first few minutes of it, and it's not that I didn't appreciate it. I definitely want to check it out. But we're talking about Spaceman, the Adam Sandler movie on Netflix. I just want to say before we go any further, I have heard some bad things about it, but what I will say is that I really do appreciate Adam Sandler when he goes over to do drama. I think he's really good at it, and I enjoy it when he does, typically. Now, I don't know about this because I haven't seen it yet. My understanding is, and I don't think I'm giving anything away, but he's basically up in space, and he's been up there a long time, and he finds out, they're trying not to tell him that his wife is leaving him.
Right.
And so that's about all I know about it. But
Well, I can tell you more because there's stuff in the trailer. He's. Here's the thing. I end up liking it. And I started watching the trailer looked really weird because he's in space and at one point there's a giant like spider that he's talking to. Right?
I remember seeing
and I'm
that.
like, okay. And I kind of put it off a few nights. I'm like, I got to see what this is about because I do like Adam Sandler. And I really liked it. I don't know how well it's going to do because it's pretty out there, as far as the spider thing. But it's cool because you're not sure if he's just hallucinating this for sure or not.
Yeah.
And basically it ends up becoming like this breakdown of his life choices up to this point, in particular with his relationship. And so it becomes,
heavy.
and it is as far as emotional type thing. It is. And I ended up kind of liking it.
I'll have to check it out. Like I said,
Yeah.
here's the other thing too. I don't know that I agree with this completely, but one thing I can say is that no, I do. This is my opinion, and I'm standing on it. Netflix for a long time, when they started doing original material, I thought most of the stuff they were doing was incredible. I'm talking about the series that they did, the movies, even the foreign films. I thought they were making content that was exceptional. And when a new movie came out on Netflix, it was like an event. And I feel like they have completely lost that. I feel like most of the stuff I know that they are, but what is that old saying? Just because something, you don't have to double down on a bad decision. And particularly in this industry, it's a bad idea to double down on something that's not working. And I think that they need to go back to square one, start looking at good stories. I just heard, who was it? This major director. Oh, they've had some good stuff.
Recently they've had some good new stuff that they've acquired. They're not. I don't know if they're producing that stuff, but they're grabbing it.
Yeah, there's been several they picked up from other producers that went out of business in the last couple of years.
Right.
So this new story, it's called Monkey Man. Are you guys familiar with this? Netflix puts $10 million, $30 million into this movie. Gets the movie made, shelves it for the guy. Along comes the director, Peele.
Yeah.
Okay.
He sees it, talks his studio, who he does his movies for, I can't remember, Universal, Paramount, whatever, into getting the movie, and they do a theatrical release. Now, in one weekend, that movie has already made its money back.
Sure.
And it's just getting started. I mean, it's being hailed as like a truly great action movie, like a classic action movie, revenge story. And that is something that it makes me mad because Netflix used to, when they'd send out your DVDs, they used to have a thing for submissions.
Sure.
And now, major directors can't even get meetings with these guys. And it's like, who do you guys think you are if you can't make good movies? And every 6 weeks they're raising our prices. I am so disgusted and disenchanted with Netflix at this point.
I don't know if they've gotten more. They've always had a bunch of foreign stuff, and so I wonder sometimes if they just kind of work a market, like they got obviously a lot of stuff from Korea. Like I just started some Korean series last night. Caught my eye on Netflix. What is it called? Something like Parasite, The Crew, or something like that. And dude, I'm digging it. You know, it's crazy. It's all subtitles, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't canceled my subscription yet, so that probably tells you something. And I'm sure that that eventually something will come. But man, it just seemed like it was a home run after home run. There was just fun movies that were interesting, and it seemed like they could be the new, the answer to Hollywood's fear of making anything that doesn't have a Marvel character attached.
Yeah.
So I thought, maybe Netflix can be the remedy. And they basically choked out Amazon because Amazon was doing it for a while, putting up, series that were actually really good too.
There's, they had, was it Reacher that they just put?
Uh-huh.
So they've had a couple of wins. Reacher, and I think The Expanse is there too.
The Expanse is at Amazon. Yeah, they bought
it.
They bought it because Bezos liked it and wanted to keep it going.
Hey, it's great, but Reacher's a big hit.
Huh? Yeah. So.
It's a lot of action. Not really my thing, but not bad.
I loved it. Dee and I watched it. We enjoyed it. It's fun. I mean, it is what it is.
There's just so many of them.
I used to love the A-Team too. Don't overthink things. It's a fun series.
It is.
All right, so you got another mailbag thing there. What else you got?
Okay, here's another one. The at least 2 versions of the movie Walking Tall.
Yes.
And just wondering if you had seen both of them and your thoughts on the 2 and that film, Walking Tall.
Walking Tall. So I did see the old one a long time ago when I was a kid. Thought it was a fun movie. And we're talking about the one with The Rock from like 10 years ago or whatever. Yeah. And you know what? I mean, I think it had Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville, wasn't it? Who's the bad guy in that? He reminds me of Ray Liotta, but he's not Ray Liotta.
He
has those real light eyes. He's really good in it.
He is a guy that actually was just kind of went through a little bit of scrutiny in last fall because he was in a movie where he was supposed to have a love scene with a female actress and refused to do it. And he was kind of pushed out of Hollywood.
Really?
For a while. Yeah.
Man, that guy's good.
He's great. He was really kind of
good.
the bad guy or one of the bad guys in Minority Report.
Yeah.
Which is that's my kind of
we should get
sci-fi.
Him on the list then.
He's great. He was also in Justified.
Yeah, really Justified.
He was pretty good bad guy in that for a while.
Yeah, I like.
He's one of those great characters that sometimes you don't even know his name, but you just know when you see him. Exactly. He's like, oh, this will be be if he's in it.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
so
I tend to pay attention to the bad guys.
I always think that's a good idea. Guys, I had a very interesting meeting today. It's premature to talk about it too much, but I will tell you that if it goes like I think it could, there's going to be another big movie happening. Very interesting story. I'm pretty excited about it. Like I said, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I will keep you guys up to date as I always try to, as things, nothing's been signed yet, but it's looking really good and it could be a really cool story. So,
Such a tease.
Well, you know what? That's what this business is, man. Got cliffhangers.
You can't tell us. You can't tell us anything. Like, is it a story you've already written?
It's not even. It's not. No, it's not. It's someone had asked to meet and has an idea, so a script would go into development, and it's a very cool. It has the potential to be something that's really cool and unique, and that's one of the things that I'm excited about because it's a lot different than some of the stuff I've done before, and it would definitely be challenging.
Cool.
But yeah.
Awesome.
So people on YouTube, thank you for being here. Don't hesitate if you're interested to ask a question about anything movie related or whatever. I'd love to answer any questions. I also want to tell you guys that in TikTok as well that I know we talked about Aura. Don't forget to check that out. If there are people, I can't see how many people are on TikTok right now, but as you come in and going, make sure you're sharing it, guys. Let people know that we're on here and hanging out, and cool.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, make sure you guys share this and let people know. How many people have seen the movie that we just put out? We put the movie out on Thursday, right before the big Iowa game on Friday, and it over the weekend it did really well. It's called New Providence. It's the director's cut of New Providence, um, and it had a slow start. I think it had like 150, 200 views, and then over the weekend it
On
it went up
YouTube, are we
around.
talking?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, and then I think it got up to maybe around 700 or 800 over the weekend. So it is a really great movie to watch with your family, and even if basketball isn't your thing, which quite personally, basketball is not my favorite sport either. But it's just a really good family movie, and it's a feel-good movie. Whether you like the sport or not, it has a pretty good message, and it's something to be proud of if you're an Iowan. There's a lot of history with the women's 6-on-6 basketball, and this story is about the last season of that and how important it was to small Iowa community or Midwest communities, really those little towns that So yeah, please check it out. See if yeah, looks like. Thanks, Annette. How are you, by the way? Poor Annette Duffy, who produced a lot of my work, and we've been, until she retired last year, we were partners for a long time. And she fell off her motorcycle while she was jumping ramps and broke her arm, broke her wrist. So we're rooting for you, Annette.
Annette, she's just out there running around, doing adventures all the time.
Yep. That's how it goes. Let's see. What else? I think did you have one more, Sean?
Oh, Coppola's new movie that's coming out, Megatropolis. Thoughts on the magnum opus
Okay.
of Coppola's.
I'm so glad that question came up.
Me too.
Because I don't really know a lot about it. What I can tell you is that when Talia Shire was in talks to do, when Jack came back, she was concerned about the scheduling conflict with her brother's movie. Honestly, I was so nervous talking to her, it didn't even occur to me who her brother was at the time. It took me a minute, when because
Sure.
she was calling him Franny, and I wasn't thinking
No.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Franny Coppola.
But she's like, and he's doing like $100 million movie, and I was like, who is this guy? Who's doing $100 million movie? Anyway, obviously I know now, and it took me a minute, but the point is she'd been talking about that movie 3 or 4 years ago, and I think in his mind this is not his last movie, but in his mind this is one of his big movies.
It's a big swing.
Well, I heard
he self-financed it, I believe.
he self-financed. I'd heard actually that this project, conceptually at least, he even started before he did The Godfather.
Yeah.
So this is something he's wanted to do his entire career, and he loves sci-fi, and he self-funded it. On IMDb, it says it was a $120 million film. I mean, and you look at the talent in it.
Probably had to hawk the vineyard.
Probably.
One of the first movies he produced was George Lucas's THX movie.
Interesting.
So yeah, he loves sci-fi.
He's got the cojones.
He's clearly a fan.
And I'll tell you, I'm really intrigued by this because here's the interesting thing about this to me, and that is he did this exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
It was his money, nobody else's. Nobody had to OAK anything. There's no board of directors. There's no marketing survey that goes out to see what for a target market. He doesn't care.
Right.
He doesn't care. In fact, I had heard that in an interview they asked him if he hoped it would do well, and I think he even said he doesn't care. He literally, this was something he wanted to create, and that fascinates me that someone is so brave. You know what I mean? It could be terrible, but it could be amazing too.
I'm very optimistic.
Yeah,
I am too.
I don't.
I am too. I'm really excited about it, truthfully.
Well, he's a craft filmmaker. He takes his time. He does things.
$120 million.
And it's a huge
You gotta-
swing. And if he's going to miss, it's going to be a huge miss. But I suspect he'll be picked.
I mean, he truly is one of the masters. And I don't know if I've told you this. I may have mentioned it before, but whenever I'm doing a project, no matter how big or small, if it's more than a day or two on something that I'm working on, I always listen to the Godfather commentary. Especially like when I'm out roaming around location scouting or whatever, I'll just put that on. Now, I've heard it many, many, many times, but I have so much respect for how he prepared, how much it meant to him. You know, I respect that even though he's been in, you know, before he was famous, he was, he didn't care. If he didn't believe in a project, he just didn't do it. And, you know, to be a filmmaker, now it's a little bit different now than it was then, because back then there might have been 40 directors in the country. And now, you know, there's 40 directors in
Right.
Des Moines, Iowa,
Right.
directors, you know,
Is there 40?
but self-proclaimed. But the point is, you know, yeah, I mean, you know, he probably would have found work somewhere or whatever. But I respect when I watched that series, The Offer. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's very, very fun to watch. And I think between what he says and what Robert Evans says, it's pretty true to life. So it feels like you're actually getting some real history there. But man, that guy, he works hard and digs deep, like Kubrick style, to figure out how to tell these stories. And if he brings any of that to this, it's gonna be cool.
Have you seen the cast list?
I have. I
It's
don't
amazing.
remember,
I'm
but
just
I
looking
mean,
at
it's like a
it.
star-studded
It's
affair.
crazy. It's crazy.
It is like 3 pages of A-listers.
Yeah. I mean, who would say no?
Right. Well, exactly. We don't have to worry about a studio bugging us.
No.
He's going to be able to do whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's probably an
Like,
actor's
I'm on
dream.
the 3rd page looking at James Caan, right? It's
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
Right there, it just elevated a little bit more for me. I love James.
Kate Blanchett, Jude Law, Lawrence Fishburne,
Oh, there you go.
Oscar Isaac, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Jessica Lange. It just keeps going and going and going.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
John Voight,
Dustin Hoffman.
Giancarlo Esposito, one of the great bad guys of all time.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, yeah, it's going to be cool, man.
I
It's
can't
gonna
wait.
be cool.
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then also Zendaya, who's, you know, Hollywood's golden girl right now, right? And Adam Driver and Shia LaBeouf. And
Shia LaBeouf.
You know, that's
Who's
a
not a
guy
kid
that yeah. I think he's so underrated.
He's great.
he's wonderful.
Have you ever seen? God, he's in this movie. It's one of the sweetest.
Peter Bear Falcon?
No, but that's a good one
That's
too.
awesome.
But it's what it's. I can't remember the title, but it'll come to me. But
The one where
basically,
he goes to
Bucharest. and-
Bucharest?
yeah,
Yeah,
and Budapest.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I love that movie.
his mom passes away, and her ghost tells him to go to Budapest, and he goes there and he finds this beautiful girl and falls in love and gets himself in all kinds of
It's
trouble.
a crazy adventure.
A crazy
It's a
adventure,
great
and he's
story.
just
What is that?
it'll come to me. But yeah, it's one of the sweetest
I've
movies.
seen it, and I don't recall the title either. Yeah.
It's like, oh, Charlie Countryman Must Die.
Charlie Countryman Must Die.
If
That-
you guys haven't seen that, it is one of the great
It's-
movies. And anybody that says that guy is not a tremendous actor
He's a great
doesn't
actor.
know what acting is.
He's fantastic. And also the bad guy in that, what's his name? He's that. That
Mick
big-
Michelson.
Yeah, Nick Michelson. He was the bad guy. Which that guy stands out in every single thing he does.
Yeah. Do you guys remember seeing him in the movie? It was actually a really good Netflix movie. Netflix.
I've seen a lot of good Netflix movies.
It's the one where I think like his plane crashes out in the ice in Alaska or something, and he's stranded
I
out there
haven't
and has
seen
to
that one.
figure out how to get home.
I haven't seen that.
It's kind of like that old movie Alive.
Yeah.
Remember the
Yeah.
soccer kids or whatever?
Yeah.
It's
I
kind of
have
like
not seen
that.
that.
He's by himself in
Ah.
the middle of
I haven't
nowhere.
seen
And
that one either.
it's a great movie.
I thought you were going to
Polar Bear.
The one where he was the Viking. That was good.
Yes, that is a Nicholas Winding Refn movie. That is a good movie.
It's really bad, man. It's bad. And then there was a Western I saw him in not too long ago. That
He's
was
just a
good.
cool.
He's good in everything.
Yes.
He was good in that terrible Star Wars
He, yeah.
And that
So,
was deep.
movie. It does.
I wish they would stop making bad ones.
Well, they're getting better in some ways.
well,
I like the series.
do you guys know who Cuss Creep is? That's a shout out on TikTok. So there's this great guy, and his name is Cuss Creep,
Okay.
and his whole thing is he does like quick movie reviews,
Oh yeah.
some old, some new, and then the last thing he does is Song of the Week.
Okay.
Right? Not only is he incredibly funny, and the way he presents his,
Mhm.
his ideas are great. He does cuss a lot, so if you're offended by that, and I know
can
you
do that
guys
on
are okay.
TikTok? I didn't know
Oh,
could do
you
that.
can, yeah,
So I can just start. I can't.
yeah. But you guys should check him out if you don't already, because he gives really great interviews. But man, he went through and talked about the Star Wars movies, and he did every one of them in about 90 seconds.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was right on point. I mean,
Yeah.
he was perfect about, like, this one was great. Blah, 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 blah. This one was a steaming pile of, yeah, I mean, and he'd give you a sentence or two of why. And you know what? I was like, he's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, as a
Cuss
fan,
Creep.
I like even the bad ones, but except for these latest ones, I gave
I'll
up
watch
on
even the
these
bad ones once, and I just won't watch them again. But
Right.
sometimes it's fun to just watch Empire Strikes Back for no
That's-
reason.
That's the bomb, dude.
I watched that one. It's like
so good.
once or twice a year I watch Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Did you see Rogue One?
Yeah.
That's good. They did
Yeah.
a series. The
That's
series
probably
is
the
pretty good,
best
too.
one of all of
Yeah.
them.
They made a
Maybe
series
number
out of
2
it.
behind.
Rogue One is really good.
Rogue One was really good. Andor.
Andor's pretty good. I like it.
I thought Andor was a wonderful show.
Wait, what?
They made a series based on the Rogue One movie. It's basically the Rogue One movie, but
Oh,
it's a
that's the one I
series.
couldn't get
It's called
through.
Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wasn't
I haven't
into it.
finished it either. It's good, but I know somehow it started losing me too.
I think it's the best series they've made.
I
I
disagree.
liked Mandalorian.
I like Mandalorian.
Mandalorian's good. But
And then there's a new one
I like
that I haven't
Ahsoka.
seen at all. The girl.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, I haven't
I
seen
like
any
Ahsoka.
of that.
Well, I like Ahsoka because it's Favreau and Filoni again, and they're the ones who, with the Clone Wars, the animated series, it's so good.
It's the movie version of Rebels.
It's basically a movie version of Rebels continuing.
Hmm.
Because they did Clone Wars and they did Rebels, and this is a continuing story that started in Clone Wars.
Yep.
So I love that.
Well, don't worry, guys. We're not going to get totally freaked out on Star Wars. This
No.
isn't what this is about. However, it is something that
Everything Star Wars.
we do love Star Wars. You can't help it. If you're our age, you grew up with that stuff.
Oh,
and
man,
it's either that or Star Trek.
I like them both.
I don't. I can't stand Star Trek. I have a friend, Sean, you know this person. He's a dear friend of yours who really wants me to love Star Trek, and I just can't. I just can't. It's just not as cool as Star Wars. But
I like them both. They've got their
there
things
are
I like
people
about
that
both of them.
consider you a traitor for that.
Well, it's because they're. What I like about Star Trek is Gene Roddenberry's concept of the future. I like. Now, to make a watchable show, you got to deviate from that, because in his concept of the future, there wasn't very much conflict. People got along, right? That was the whole point.
Yep.
But that's kind of boring. You got to have conflict. So, and so the series has changed from that original kind of vision. It keeps coming back every now and then in little spots.
Hmm.
But I liked that idea that we actually were a point in the future where we actually got our crap together. We weren't fighting each other because of the color of our skin anymore. We weren't holding people
I mean,
down.
yeah, it's a wonderful.
Yeah, you
it's a
can get,
wonderful idea.
I mean, there's no money. That's a lot of things people miss in Star Trek. There's no money.
Super optimistic.
You can literally go to the replicator and say, make whatever you want, and it makes it.
Oh.
So their economy is not based on anything like what we have now. And that's all in the background, so that's why I like it.
Right.
And it's fun because I like fun, silly stuff. And I learned a lot of martial arts from watching Captain Kirk.
All right. I'm gonna throw one at you, Aaron.
All right.
What's something everybody needs to see this week? What's a
I'll
good
tell
movie?
You, I've had a busy week of professional conferences, so I haven't watched a lot of TV or movies. But I did have a friend of mine come over last night, and we said I watched a movie called Musica. about a young man who has, I forget the name of the disorder, but it's where you essentially see sound and stuff. And,
Interesting.
I had a friend version of that.
yeah, my understanding is Lord has that. The
Really?
musician, yeah, and he wrote it, directed it, and started it, and it was one of the most engaging, clever, creative movies I've seen in a long time. It was also heartwarming, family friendly, all the things.
Interesting. Musica.
Musica, and he kept like having his disorder take over, and he said he described it at one point in the movie as that his brain looks for the rhythm in the world, and like he was in a park with this girl, and there were people playing basketball in the background, and he was laying down the beat for everything, and then he was pointing out things to her, and she was trying to help her understand his perspective on the world. And this was contrasted with his girlfriend at the start of the movie who didn't get him and didn't support his dream.
Well, he was talking stupid stuff.
Well, right, and so and also he's living in New Jersey and working in the subway as a performing puppeteer, trying to follow his art while he's going to school to be an ad PR guy.
You're really pulling us in with that puppeteer thing.
The puppets are adorable.
You almost had me. I almost was going to watch this movie.
So you got to watch it. It's
Are there
really good.
mimes in it?
I've got a documentary
I draw the line
think
at
you guys
mine.
should see. I've got a documentary. It's pretty old, but it's something that I forget about, and then I'll watch it and I'll go, oh my God, this is brilliant. It's called I Like Killing Flies.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And you can watch it on YouTube for free.
Okay.
But it's a very interesting, I don't even know how to put it. It's about this family that has a very small restaurant in New York. Okay, just a tiny little restaurant. And the dad, the father, who I'm guessing is in probably his like early 60s or late 50s, early 60s. He's the chef, right? And the family runs the front of the house, and they're crazy, and especially him. Very smart, but a real piece of work. Real piece of work. Like there's rules to eat there. Like you either come in 2 or 4. Okay. No odd numbers. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah. There's no menu. He makes you what he thinks he wants to make. So, and it could be anything. You might get some amazing blueberry waffles with, I mean,
No
it's
choice.
all, it's not
You're
like
gonna get what he
Perkins.
makes.
Or you might get salmon nachos, or and it's very, very weird. This guy, very, very weird.
What's he called?
I Like Killing Flies. But check it out. It's not very long, but it's very entertaining. And it's Damon, my brother Damon, he loved this documentary so much that when he was in New York, when he was on tour, he took an off day and like found a way to this restaurant just so he could go in there. He's like, I didn't know what I was eating. I didn't know what I was going to get. I went in and thank God I got nachos. But he's like, no, you can't come in with 5 people and have 2 people sit at one table and 3 sit at another. You're not going to fool us. You've already come in. We know you're a party of 5. You know you're a party of 5. Get out. So it's very entertaining.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think you'll laugh, and it's very
There's
heartwarming
no
too.
law against that either. You can't say there's a discrimination thing going on. No one cares.
No, I mean he's chased people out, and he's like, read the sign, and then there's like rules posted outside, and they read them, and they just laugh. They're like,
No odd numbers.
yeah,
It's good to have characters, man.
That's fair.
yep. So anyway, anybody else got anything they want to share?
That reminds me. Do you remember the restaurant on the south side years ago called Bambi's?
I do.
You remember Bambi's?
I remember it, yeah.
Did you ever go there? See, Bambi's was like what you described. And there was a show when I was young. What was that show? It was called Real People. I don't know if you remember that. There's a show called Real People, and it's a precursor to a lot of the home video style shows, right?
Uh-huh.
And they'd show like real people doing real things, but it was professionals filming, right?
Right.
And the guy came out and had a dog and a ball, and he'd bounce the ball for the dog. I remember stupid things. But anyway, one of the specials they did was on this restaurant on the south side of Des Moines that was down by the airport. It's gone now.
Right. It was right next door to Paul's place.
Right. But
which was my grandpa's place.
Oh, okay. So what was great about it was the food was great pizza, amazing salad dressing. I still thought it had something in it to make you addicted. I thought it was hash or something. I don't know what it was, but I just wanted more and more. And one of my friends was related, so he worked there. And so we got the inside scoop on everything. So what made it special? Well, number one, he had a jukebox, and that jukebox was like every other jukebox. It had all kinds of music in it. But I don't care if you pick Queen or you pick AC/DC or you pick Willie Nelson. The only thing that jukebox played was Frank Sinatra. That was it. Nothing else. Not the same Frank
So
song.
this is a restaurant in Des Moines,
Right.
Iowa from back in like the 70s. It was called Bammy's. It was a very famous.
And so it only played Frank Sinatra. He would do all these goofy things, like he would come out with a trombone with a boxing glove on.
Yep.
He'd walk around and box people in the face with it. He'd come out with a fire extinguisher full of water and spray you right in the face. He'd spray people. And people would get mad, and he'd never back down. And if they got too mad, he'd kick them out, right?
Right.
You had to have a sense of humor. And the thing that always shocked me was he loved to wait to slide your beer to you if you're at the bar. He loved to wait until you weren't looking. And then he would slide that across the bar, and it would go off and break. And then he'd go, "Bah!" And he'd make a big deal out of it, right?
Right.
And I'd get in your face. And you're like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And then he'd laugh and he'd give you a beer. That's the kind of stuff he
Knucklehead.
did.
I know. I went there when I was a little kid when we were visiting back here, and we went in there, and my dad walked in just as like 3 girls were running out screaming because he was spraying them.
People left all the time.
So, but let me tell you something. So fast forward, and I was probably like 7 or 8 when that happened. Fast forward, I'm like 15 or 16, 14, 15. Me and my brother Damon are doing some yard work over on the south side. We're cutting this family's hedges or whatever, probably trying to make some concert money. Anyway, the other side of the fence or the other side of the hedges, this old dude goes, "Hey fellas, how much to do my side?" And we're like, I don't know, whatever, probably
Right.
$15 or
Right.
something. But anyway, he goes, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you that, and I'll give you one of my pizzas." And we're like, "Yeah, I don't want your pizza, man. Just give me the money."
I got some pops.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, it ended up being that old man, Bammy, and he had the pizza, and he made them at his home and put them in the white box.
Even after that restaurant closed, that thing. In fact, I think just recently, because someone in the family can still make all that stuff.
Yep.
They know how to make it. And then every now and then they'll put a little thing out on Facebook just for somehow I'm still kind of in the know, but not. But they just did something recently.
It was at Gusto.
Oh, is that
They
it?
they for like 2 weeks in January
That's
or February, Gusto stopped making their pizza, so Bammy's family could come in and you could get a Bammy's
I don't
pizza
think just
from them.
stop forever.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Gusto, you're great. But yeah,
I love this.
Nah, come on. You gotta. I grew up in Des Moines, man. I know good pizza. We got good pizza.
You know what? I last weekend I drove all the way to Bondurant to get Abby's.
Oh, okay.
So you remember Russ and Abby's?
Yeah.
The Pizza House.
Yes.
That's like a
Didn't they
drive.
just reopen the pizza house? Is it gone again already?
It's gone.
Of course.
In my opinion,
It was great.
it's my favorite pizza. But anyway, you
Wow.
can still go there and
Well,
get the onion rings and
Hilltop.
the pizza.
Have you done Hilltop?
What's that?
It's still open. Hilltop is over on the east side. Very, very similar pizza
Well, is this on
to
what's that?
the Diagonal. Yeah, Hubble.
Hubble.
It's just on the corner of like Hubble and like East 29th or something. And there's a little strip mall there. And there's a place called Hilltop, and it's family restaurant pizza, thin crust, like they used to make everywhere. In Des Moines. Friskies, we were around. Friskies is gone. That was my dad's favorite.
I remember that name.
Friskies was my dad's
And then
favorite.
you used to have remember Home Run Pizza?
Home Run
Yeah.
Pizza, yeah.
Home Run was over by Drake.
Yes.
Home Run and Bigfoot. They had,
I think Home Run you could get like 2 pizzas for $5.
which was the one that had the giant
Home Team.
home team?
It was like a 20-inch, and Paul Revere still
Yeah,
does a
Paul
20-inch,
Revere's.
Yeah.
Those, I'll tell you what, you order one of those at 3 o'clock in the morning.
which you could because
You
they're
could,
open till
'cause they
3.
do it all night long, and you're gonna love it.
And Paul Revere's They used to go right
It's true.
You are so happy when it shows up.
It took like 2 hours to get it, but yeah.
But
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
go in, no, but you could go in person, and for $1.50, you get a whole pizza's worth of breadsticks.
Huh.
So it was the breadsticks, which was the crust.
Right.
They would slice it up and
You're
smother
talking
it.
about Revere's?
Yeah, Parmesan.
Oh.
It was
Yeah, yeah.
smothered in butter, covered in Parmesan, and then give you a couple of cups of the sauce for
Marinara.
dipping. $1.50.
Yeah.
You know, and
We
they
ju-
were on the one end, and the 7-Eleven was on the other end. And the 7-Eleven had Adam's Family Pinball,
Ooh, that's good pinball.
and you could smoke in the 7-Eleven. Go in and pick up
Smoke and play pinball.
a couple packs of cigarettes, smoke while they made
You
my.
were such a rebel.
That's fun, man.
I loved
You know what was fun? Like Paul Revere's like on a Friday night or a Saturday night, it's like, okay, the kids are in bed, gonna watch a movie, start about 10. Why don't we order a pizza now to get here, about an
By 3.
hour? It was like the best,
Yeah.
And that's not just a fat guy talking here, guys. This is like classic Iowa memories.
We're very lucky. We got to appreciate how lucky we are in Des Moines with the quality of our restaurants. I mean, we have so many good
Look,
restaurants.
my dad lived here for a large part of his life, but he was born and raised in California, and that's where he lives today. Now, he comes back at least once a year and spend a couple weeks out here.
Mhm.
And every time I go somewhere with him, because, we'll go to a restaurant, get some lunch or whatever, go to dinner, whatever. He'll say, Thor, I don't know why California can't figure out how to make pizza.
I know.
And
No
I've been
good
up
pizza,
and down the coast.
No
I've been
good
to LA.
Chinese. I haven't had any good Chinese there. Now, there's certain things that are great. Good Mexican food.
Yeah, but
It's
I
the
think
tacos.
I think
LA has good
Rancho
tacos.
Alegre,
Good
and that's
tacos
not a
are good.
sponsorship. But you guys should sponsor me. But
With
Rancho, I think that's the
Oh.
best Mexican food. It's their salsas,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
so good. So anyway, I know we turned this into a cooking show.
We can talk about food all night.
Yeah, we could probably do an hour just on the Mexican.
And honestly, I tell you what, if you're in the Des Moines area and you want to know a good place to eat, this crew here, we know.
So one of us is going to tell you
We're
something
gonna,
good.
we're gonna be honest, and we're gonna tell you if it sucks or not too.
Fairly recently for our family Friday. Every Friday we do family dinner night, and we take turns picking. So it's my turn, or Michelle's turn, then my turn, then my son, and my daughter. We went to Lacona's, Noah Lacona's, and I had
Is this part of Mama Lacona's?
Noah's Ark. Noah Lacona was.
Oh, Noah's
Yeah,
Ark. Yeah, sure.
And I had that pizza for the first time in probably 20 years. And it holds up.
They still have like the
Yeah.
best spaghetti and meatballs.
Uh-huh. Stuffed
Bland.
peppers.
We got 1,000 desserts, and they're all great.
Well, and we're going to a great place tonight.
Oh yes.
Well, I don't know if we can say it live though, because last time we did that, everyone wanted to show up. And it's
Yeah,
kind of
that's.
embarrassing.
I don't want to do that this time. I don't want to put
But
that
we're
strain
going,
on
We're
that.
going somewhere really cool and fun. It's really
Maybe
good
you can
food
find us,
and
And
lots of.
it's not Shakey's.
and it's not Shakey's.
We might drop hints later. It depends on how Thor feels.
All right. Well, listen up, guys. I want to thank you for the people that watched on YouTube. Thank you so very much. Don't forget to subscribe. Everybody over on TikTok. Now, both of you guys, just so you know, TikTok and YouTube, check out the Aura. It's super quick. If you like mysteries, if you like supernatural stories,
Let's see what's happened.
go in
since we've
there
been
and
on the
check it
show.
out, you guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all for paying attention. Thanks for your support, and we'll talk to you soon. You guys take care. Bye-bye.
Aloha.